All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we're going to be diving into the markets. We're going to be diving into what I'm really building up in my portfolio right now for the long term. We've been talking about that harvest that you'll be able to take advantage of in 2024, 2025 after the Bitcoin halving. But I think that your biggest opportunities is with some lower cap tokens and letting them naturally grow over time. I'll use an example that I used on the last show to show that early conviction in top projects and just simply letting those organically grow over time. And if you can stomach being involved in some of these lower market cap projects up until the next bull run, I think that harvest will be even sweeter if you actually take advantage and put those low caps with that high conviction in your portfolio. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some key news in the crypto gaming space as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, and first and foremost, like the video down below if you enjoy the content here on Banter, and if you're bullish on the future of Web3 gaming, just like I am, as I think this is by far going to be the biggest sector in crypto, by far as a whole. So like the video and subscribe, and quick shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game as well. Bybit for all of your trading needs, as well as 𝗕𝗁𝗄𝗃 for all of your trading needs. So if you're a US citizen, you can still use 𝗕𝗁𝗃. They are US friendly. So sign up link down below, as well as Bybit if you want to take advantage and still utilize Bybit. But ever since they took away that KYC, us US customers are left on the sidelines. So your choice down below of the exchanges. NordVPN, always navigate safely and securely throughout crypto. And last but not least, Vulcan Forge, one of the leading blockchain gaming companies, studios, blockchains in the entire space. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We're still in the same situation. I feel like over the last couple of shows, we've just been in this 30,000 range. And honestly, that's showing strength, that we're not really taking that much of a leg down. We are sticking around these levels. But if you take a look at the 7-day chart, some of the projects that we've been chatting about here have been really moving. WAGMI Games is up 27% over the week. And that will be one of the low caps that we talk about, which I think it could be a part of your harvest if you've been investing early. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. Ocean Protocol, I say all the time that other than Render, Ocean is my #1 AI play. We see Ocean up 17% this week. Nakamoto Games up 15%. We mentioned just on the last show that Solana probably will end up being a great investment for anyone who was buying those lows during this last time period, and it's up 11% over the week. So nice to see some gains on some tokens that we recently talked about. And guys, I'm going to be honest, a lot of people are saying BlackRock ETF is buy the rumors, sell the news, but if you look between the lines, I don't think that that's the case. The institutions are loading up on Bitcoin. Miles put out a great tweet today that since BlackRock filed for the spot ETF, Bitcoin held by funds has seen a strong uptick. This is only the beginning of widespread institutional Bitcoin accumulation. I truly think so. And I think that's why also we might see a continuation of this Bitcoin bull run that we've been seeing from 16K up to 30K over the course of 2023. But we'll see. I truly do think we see a little bit more of a leg up, maybe 32, 34K are my short-term targets. So we will see how that plays out. And we're definitely showing some strength holding that 30,000 level, which is a very key level. So let's go ahead and get into the crypto gaming side of the show as always. And people always like to discuss how there's no games that are quality yet and that it's taking forever for this to happen. Is Web3 gaming a scam? It is not a scam, and it is developing every single day in the background, right? The money keeps coming into Web3 gaming. Just last month, 7 blockchain games raised $70 million. That money will take time to actually put into product, and we are on the cusp. I mean, we see Dead Drop, we see Gunzilla, we see Illuvium, we see Star Atlas. They're right there at our fingertips. So I think we will very soon. And right now you can hop into My Pet Hooligan. You can hop into some of these top games which I really would recommend checking out. My Pet Hooligans over on the Epic Game Store at this moment in time. So Web3 games are coming together and the funding isn't slowing down. We're seeing 70 million invested into the space by VCs just last month. And I think there is much more to come. And people have to understand, it takes a long time to build a game. It takes a long time to build a AAA game and actually cultivate that economy. So just keep your eye out. And that tweet there, the research was from GameSwift. We're really looking forward to the 𝗔_SWIFT token launch. And the 𝗔_SWIFT token, like I mentioned, it has real yield. And if you can go into this thread here, it'll go over exactly how that real yield plays out. So really looking ahead to the 𝗔_SWIFT token launch as well. And one thing I thought was interesting, amidst this market crash with the NFT side of things, we're actually seeing some of the biggest sports leagues in the world still rolling forward with some initiatives here. So NFTs are actually a part of the Major League Baseball's latest virtual ballpark, which is set to debut tomorrow. This is infamous. They were going to do this with FTX. And even though FTX went under, the MLB still sees the potential here in utilizing NFTs in its virtual ballpark experience. So absolutely love to see that. But with every adoption, there are people pulling back. On the last show, we mentioned to you how Sega was building a Web3 game. And the article and the details of this, you can go in and see that they're still going to make this one product Web3. But Sega had really dug their teeth into the Web3 side of things. And just today, the Sega execs say they are walking back their plans for blockchain gaming. So I think what that means is they're probably going to slow down their efforts and really see where this industry is headed. But I truly think that the Web3 gaming industry, like I said at the beginning of the show, is going to prove to be the biggest use case for all of decentralized finance, NFTs, especially with in-game assets. And I think that Sega will eventually sink their teeth back into this industry at the fullest. So let's go ahead and dive into some tokens here. And then we're going to get into the bulk of the show where I'm going to go over some low cap tokens, give you exactly the reasoning why this could provide you the biggest gains in this market, just like holding some of the blue chip companies over the long haul of the stock market. But this could actually play out a lot quicker. And I will tell you just how that is here in just a second. So a couple of things that I think are really good accumulations at this time. Polygon. Now, unfortunately, we bid a sweet farewell to a legend on the Polygon side, a legend in the gaming space, as Ryan Wyatt. We've had him on the show here in the past. He's leaving Polygon. So I think it is a bit of a gut punch because I feel like that's why they built with Dr. Disrespect. I feel like a lot of the branding, the deals that they landed, I feel like Ryan Wyatt did have his hand in that pie quite a bit, but he'll still be advising, investing, and staying in the industry, he says. So I hope to see that his involvement doesn't really fade away with Polygon. So that's unfortunate for me to see. But at the end of the day, they're still pushing forward some of the biggest actual in-game utilities, NFTs, and businesses. We've talked about their partnerships over and over, but this last one they did with Fortnite, so with Nike.Swoosh, which is it's ran on Polygon. If you got the achievement, the NFT achievement, you're going to have the first access to their next collection. So I think that's a perfect way, as Kagi says here, gamification of brands 3.0. So even though there weren't NFTs inside the Fortnite experience, this actually is now your key to the next NFT drop. So I think that's really cool and a really cool way to gamify your brand and your fan base to be able to get involved in some of these things. Another one, Vulcan Forge. Vulcan Forge has been trading sideways, and they're a part of that catalyst I mentioned on the last show that's going to be in front of potentially 300 million households, many major providers and entertainment sources. I can't say much about exactly what that is, but this is going to give PYR and WAGMI Games, which we'll talk about here in just a second, massive exposure. I think now is the time to be accumulating. And when I'm actually looking around Twitter, a lot of the traders, the Twitter traders, they're all centering that Vulcan Forged is their number one play in the crypto gaming niche. So I am accumulating, and I think that around this $3 mark is going to really pay off long term. Their own blockchain is about to go live. They've started to show you how to set up on MetaMask, how to get the Elysium network on there. So I'm really loading my bags for Vulcan Forge. And I think that this one is going to be one of the biggest winners in the next bull market. And the show is sponsored by Vulcan Forge. But if you've watched this content, you've watched my shows, you'll know that over the last 24 months or so, I've been a big advocate and a big fan of what Vulcan Forge is doing. So let's go ahead and dive into today's main topic, which is, how to build a portfolio that could legitimately 20x into the next cycle. A lot of people, a lot of moon boys out there will come into the comment section down below and say, only a 20x, haha, we want 100x's. Well, first and foremost, I'm just going to tell you this right now. I am never the type that's going to say that a token is going to 100x. I am never the type that's going to overshoot my projections. So I would absolutely rather give you a conservative projection than a complete moon boy projection. So my projections are going to be realistic based off market caps and based on the growth that you could see from some of these products. But I want to show you a big example. In the bear market, we've seen products go live with massive utility. KASPA, this one I'm using as an example, has fantastic utility. It's a fantastic project. And this token has seen tremendous growth since October of 2022. This was a $26 million market cap. As we stand today, this market cap, as we see on the left side here, is a $455 million market cap. So that's about a 23x from that initial $20 million valuation. And people who got in early have just literally been able to buy, hold, and watch this appreciate over time. And I saw a graphic the other day about the stock market. If you play this like the stock market with some of these small caps, and I'll give you my logic on why this is here quickly, but you have to hear me out. If you play this like the stock market, and if you think a project that is a $10 million market cap, even a 20, let's go to Altura. Altura is our first example here. So this, to me, is the highest utility low cap token that you can find across the blockchain gaming space. And if you look here, their partner 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 did a deep dive. So they're putting NFTs into traditional games. They're helping game developers build. They're on the Unity asset store. They have 44,000 unique marketplace users, 291,000 total transactions, 3.9 million of marketplace value, 38,000 NFTs minted, and more games are utilizing their stack of technology every single day. So how do you time this? How do you get in front of this mass adoption that's coming for a token like Altura? You need to start investing now, despite whatever you see in the broader markets. The way that you win with low cap tokens is planting those seeds, small investments, risk manage appropriately. But for example, Altura is one that I think if you bet on in this time period and you just let this seed harvest, that's like the theme, right? You want to have a good harvest when it comes to 2024, 2025. And this token here at a $29 million market cap or $27 million market cap easily could be a $200 million market cap, a $250 million market cap. That's just a 10x. And people think that this token will do much more than a 10x, for example. So if you put together a portfolio of undervalued, but overachieving on their utility, and you put a basket together in your portfolio of those small caps, I think this is how you are really going to find extremely high gains in the next bull market. So let's just say you put a token portfolio together of these low caps, right? So these are some of my top low caps. But I'm going to tell you why this can grow your portfolio faster than anything else whenever the bull run comes around. So Altura is about a $27 million market cap. I think that WAGMI Games, and it's about to shed a zero. So shout out to WAGMI Games. It's absolutely ripping over the last week. But this one here is about a $16 million market cap. I think realistically, this is a 50 million, 80 million, 100 million plus market cap here in the future. And especially in the bull run, this thing will go absolutely crazy, in my opinion. They have some of the best partnerships, Immutable, GameStop. They have some of the best team from EA, Bungie, etc. And it's WAGMI summer, as they're saying. They have a big summer ahead. Same catalyst that Vulcan Forge is going to have to get in front of 300 million users. And WAGMI is going to be baked into the game very heavily. And it's not to where it's the earnings token. It is to where it is being utilized inside the game economy. So I'm very bullish on WAGMI Games. I'm bullish on Nakamoto Games. This is like a game studio infrastructure. They have staking. They have a marketplace. They have multiple games that you can jump in and play. They have services like a DEX, referral programs, which not a lot of projects have at this moment in time. So that's one of my highest conviction plays. I think that Remark is also going to do really, really well now that they're EVM compatible. This is similar to Altura. So this is a $17 million market cap. I'm betting big on Elio, with Imposters, with Superverse, with Gigamart. I think that they're doing some really good stuff behind the scenes. And I would bet on Elio here. This is about a $44 million market cap. On the Launchpad side, the people are going to come back and they're going to ape into these pre-seed IDOs, the private rounds, and 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 is the #1 gaming launchpad out there at a $37 million market cap. And at the all-time, let's just go. At one point, this was a $350 million market cap. I think you have a lot of room for growth on some of these tokens. So if you are catching my drift here on the growth potential on these tokens, all in all, so DeFi Kingdoms and Phantasma are the last ones. So let's say you put together this 8-token portfolio with Altura, WAGMI, Nakamoto Games, Remark, Superverse, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, DeFi Kingdoms, and Phantasma. So there's your 8 tokens, okay? If you add all of those up and you put them in a calculator, which I have done, the circulating market cap, so not the fully diluted, but the circulating market cap on these tokens is 194 million combined. 194 million combined. That is literally the easiest way to grow your portfolio. When the bull run comes around, that 194 million across 8 projects can turn into a $2 billion valuation so fast when some of these flip into those multi-$100 million valuations. I have been stacking my bags of Altura, of WAGMI. I'm looking to make an entry into stuff like Nakamoto Games. I do have some super. I'm really looking to potentially make another entry into Jewel when it makes sense. Make another entry into stuff like I need to make an entry into Remark, for example. So there's some of these low caps that I'm still waiting to accumulate my bags of. But my full-blown plan is to have these top low caps in my bags, because if you have conviction early in these projects and you just invest, risk manage, and set it and forget it, keep track of the platform's updates, make sure that it stays continuing development, make sure things are bullish within the ecosystems, and you can stomach waiting until the next bull run. I am telling you, you will never see rapid gains the way that you will if you just invest in top tier projects that are undervalued on market cap. That $194 million of valuation between these 8 projects can flip into multi-billion-dollar valuations literally in just a few weeks, a few months of a real alt season. You're going to see gains that you've never seen before if you actually plant seeds in these low cap tokens. But I want to summarize. I am not saying to go buy all these tokens. That is not this endorsement. But this is an 8-token example. I have conviction across all 8 of these tokens. This is an 8-token example that if you add them up, it's under a $200 million market cap that could flip into multi-billions without hesitation in a real bull market. And you're going to really thank yourself for making those investments in this time period when people are scared. People are scared to put their money in altcoins. It's really baffling to me that they haven't learned over the cycles that the people who invest in these bear markets strategically and risk manage correctly, they're the ones that come out on top in the next cycle. So I'm planting seeds in these low caps, but you also need to weigh the risks. Know that market caps, the lower they are, the harder they can slide. They're a little more volatile. It takes less liquidity to move these tokens. So it definitely is a volatile game. It's not for everybody, but if you have a balance of those top tokens, let's just say Polygons, Gala, Avalanche, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕, those types of top 100s, let's just say. So you have those top 100s loaded into your bag. You have those middle tier projects, stuff like Magic, Vulcan Forged. I can pull up the watch list here and give you a couple more examples, but I think you get the point. So if you have those multi-billion-dollar top 25, top 50s in your bag, that's going to hold your portfolio steady. There's less downside on those tokens. Those mid-cap tokens, let's just say, like at this moment, Veracity and Vulcan Forged, they have tremendous upside, not a lot of downside, but they're about medium risk, but with high conviction. And then you have those low caps that can really springboard your portfolio. I think you're going to set yourself up for massive success in the next cycle. And I think the thumbnail says biggest opportunity or 20x opportunity. This is how you're going to 20x your portfolio, by having a weighted portfolio of different valuations of those big caps, the medium caps, and the low caps. But today's show should open your eyes on these low caps and how quickly they can potentially move. And we're looking at valuations on some of these projects in the past bull market that are 10, 20, 30x from their all-time highs. So I think that even if you play it safe and you can get some 10x's out of this, if you 10x the 200 million to 2 billion on the market caps, you're going to have seen tremendous appreciation in that portfolio. So I'm going to stop the rant, but I think you get the point of the fact that if you can stomach this during this time period, when everyone's telling you crypto's a scam, only Bitcoin's getting the liquidity, we're not seeing an alt season, are we in a bull, are we in a bear? Just filter out that noise and form your thesis and stick to it. And I can assure you, come the next cycle, you're going to come out on top. We'll track these over time. I'll remember that 194 million valuation across these 8 tokens. And we will revisit this later on and show you that, planting seeds in these low caps are the way to win the biggest in the bull market. As my VC friends right now, they text me, they're like, Johnny, we're looking at this token. It has a $7 million market cap. We think that this will be a $50 million, $70 million token. So that's the biggest VCs. That's the smart money in this industry. So I'm just telling you exactly what I hear. And if you want to take that and form your own thesis and strategy, that's what we are here for. So like the video, subscribe for more. I'll be back on Monday with another show, hopefully a little more of an eventful week in the crypto gaming space and in the markets. I feel like both of my shows this week, we're just hanging around 30,000, not much really going on. So I hope to see a little more action in the markets over the weekend, and we can have a little more juicier topics to talk about next week. But guys, I will see y'all then. Play well, my friends.